Thank y'all. Please be seated. Joe, would you like to come join us up here? Yeah. I'm going to make a couple announcements while the Legion's Honor Guard comes back in and gets seated. Tomorrow's Tuesday. It will be Second Harvest Day, and it's become an important part of our community. They've been here for over a year, the fourth Tuesday of each month at the Cocke County Fairgrounds. They give out somewhere between 250 and 400 meals a month. And so I invite you to come out if you know neighbors that are in need of food. Lineup starts at 9 o'clock. It is at the fairgrounds. They start giving the food out at 10. And they could also use volunteers to come up at 9 o'clock to help us put the packages together, and then whenever the cars come through, to load them into the cars. So that'll be tomorrow. Then, of course, next Saturday, right here West End Baptist Church, will be having our free breakfast for veterans and their guests. And they've got 17 of them now, Dallas, almost 18, 20. They're growing leaps and bounds. But we rank pretty high in attendance. So I invite everybody to come out and join. Doors open at 0800, and at 08:30 we serve the breakfast. And after our breakfast this next week, the Reefs Across America exhibit band will be here. It's a 48-foot band that explains how Reefs Across America got started. It's got it's got a 24-person screening room to watch movies. They got interactive computers. They will be over here at Food City West on Friday and Saturday. They'll be open from 10 to 6. And after our breakfast, they're going to have a special opening and tour for our veterans and their guests come next Saturday. They'll be opening it up at 9:30, so we can go right over there to see the exhibit, but it will be here Friday as well. So please check that out. Now, I'd like to introduce one of our guests, Newport City Mayor, Mr. Trey Dykes. Mayor Dykes.
Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. I wasn't sure if Rob was going to ask me to say anything this morning, so I prepared something anyway. Hopefully it won't take long. He basically told me, said, if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to do so. But I would think that he had learned by now that asking a politician to say a few words is probably not the best approach to these kind of ceremonies. But in any case, I did prepare a few remarks, and it won't take long. I recall that the ultimate sacrifice, the phrase that is constantly used and was first coined by President Lincoln. But the weight of that phrase can really be overwhelming. All of us will ultimately succumb to that fate, but never will bear the burden of it in defense of others or a principle greater than ourselves. Each year I have to remind myself that being here at this moment is more than just my responsibility as mayor, but a personal responsibility to honor those men and women who bore that burden with pride. So today, we come together in solemn unity to pay tribute to the courageous individuals who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation's freedom. Memorial Day stands as more than just an ordinary date on our calendars. It serves as a profound occasion for introspection, appreciation, and heartfelt remembrance. As we gather here today, we are enveloped by the reverberations of their bravery and the profound weight of their unwavering commitment to freedom. These valiant heroes who answered the call of duty by donning the uniform of our armed forces left behind their families, their dreams, and their very lives to safeguard that precious ideals we hold dear: liberty, justice, and the relentless pursuit of happiness. Let us take a moment to reflect on the essence of service. It demands extraordinary courage, a readiness to embrace the unknown, and a steadfast dedication to a cause far greater than oneself. Each name inscribed on memorials we honor today represents a life that was not only lived fully, but also filled with hope, aspirations, and the promise of a brighter future, tragically cut short. On this significant day, we do more than simply remember those we have lost. We stand in heartfelt support of the families they left behind. We unite in solidarity with them, pledging our commitment to ensure their sacrifices are forever etched in our collective memory and that their legacies continue to inspire us in our daily lives. As we gather to honor these extraordinary heroes, let us also resolve to embody the values for which they fought so valiantly to preserve. Let us strive diligently for a brighter tomorrow where peace prevails and freedom is celebrated. May we persist in upholding the principles of democracy and justice, ensuring that their sacrifice were not in vain. As we lay flowers and flags in the resting places of these brave souls, let us remember that our freedom is a priceless gift, one that comes at an immense cost. It is our solemn duty to ensure that the memories of those courageous individuals live on, woven into the fabric of our nation. Thank you for joining me today in this sacred act of remembrance for our fallen heroes. May we always honor their memory, not only on Memorial Day, but throughout each day of our lives as we strive to be worthy of their remarkable sacrifice. Thank you.
I hear that gentleman at every event he goes to saying, I don't like doing this, but his words are so eloquent and they're right on spot. And I really thank him for coming today. Now, we're going to get into our keynote speaker. Many of you know him. He's done a remarkable job for our community. And Joe Esway serves as Director of Cocke County Emergency Management Agency. Director Esway was formerly the Campus Director of ITT Technical Institute in Knoxville, Tennessee, an adjunct professor of business and general studies at Virginia College. Prior to his current appointment, Master Gunnery Sergeant Esway served honorably as a United States Marine from July 1990 to February 2015. Master Sergeant Gunnery Sergeant Esway's 25-year career included deployments in support of Operation Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm in Southwest Asia in 1991, Operation Promote Democracy in Haiti in 1993, and Operation Restore Hope in Somalia in 1994. Esway was promoted to the very top of the enlisted rank structure and served as a light armored reconnaissance Marine, combat water survival instructor, small arms weapon instructor, disaster preparedness officer, and a member of the Marine Corps Recruiting Command. Joe started the first ever swiftwater rescue and dive team in this county. He is a member of the SWAT team, is bonded and sworn as a special deputy for the Cocke County Sheriff's Office, and a certified firefighter. Joe resides in Del Rio, Tennessee, and has 2 adult children. Mr. Esway.
You know, I told Miss Macy just a few weeks ago that I was going to take a break from these for a little while because It would seem since Hurricane Helene, I can't look at a commercial with puppies in it without crying anymore, so I should probably talk to somebody about that eventually. But when Rob Watkins calls, you answer, so I'm very happy to be here. It was a typical Friday in October 1993 aboard Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. I was a young and cocky Marine corporal in command of a 15-ton, $1.3 million light armored reconnaissance vehicle, responsible for that vehicle's 7-man crew. And if any of you are trying to do the quick math in your head right now, let me save you the trouble. Macy would have been 2 years old at that time. It sounds a lot worse when you say it out loud, doesn't it? The boys were carrying on for a typical Friday, getting a little bit of work done while discussing plans for the weekend that kept us within a 50-mile radius of the base as our unit was taking its turn of air contingency force, or air alert. I took notice that our senior leadership was absent from their usual Friday rounds, and there was a strain in the air that very few seemed to notice. I got a heads up from the company first sergeant that a rapid deployment was in the air, as instructed. I told no one, but did tell my crew, no one goes anywhere until this vehicle is 100% combat ready. I want every fluid, every belt, every seal, every switch, every light bulb checked, and when you've checked it, I want you to check it again. And yes, they were pissed about that. Things continued to buzz throughout the day, and soon most everyone, including my own crew, was picking up on the fact that something was going on. Once I was satisfied with the condition of my vehicle, I released the boys and they went on about their evening plans. Later that evening, the order was given to rapidly deploy a 2200 Marine Air Ground Task Force. My unit joined up with 3rd Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment, and formed Task Force Light Horse. This would be the second of my 3 deployments in my career. We assembled in a large parking area. The base chaplain walked in front of every vehicle, touched every vehicle, said a brief prayer, and then went on to the next one. State troopers arrived, and we received a lighted 80-mile-per-hour escort up I-95 to Cherry Point. We dropped our pants, we got our shots, loaded into C-5s, landed in Cuba, transferred everything that we had aboard the USS Nassau, LHA-4, which is a landing helo assault vehicle, and within 21 hours of receiving the order from the President, we were 2 miles off the coast of Haiti. Our mission was to make an amphibious landing, travel inland, and conduct a NEO, or a non-combatant evacuation operation of the Americans in the embassy. Now, the details of the operation are not as important as what happened aboard the ship. After receiving the mission briefing and everybody confirming their assignments, we had a young platoon commander, first lieutenant, told us to take out our notebooks and our pens, not to write letters home, but to write our obituaries. I warned you. This was an exercise that he most certainly took from Colonel Hal Moore's playbook. Anybody remember Hal Moore? Like everyone, this 20-year-old kid stared at a blank sheet of paper for several minutes while contemplating the life I'd lived to that point. And like everybody else, I completed the assignment and turned it over to my platoon commander. It may sound morbid to some, but those in the room will likely understand the intent. Once we realized that death, either that day or sometime the road, was inevitable, we didn't fear it any longer. Everything in life, including life, is finite. Everything ends. And if you're fortunate, you can dictate the terms of how things end. I served as a Marine for 25 years without so much as a scratch. How do you explain that? And like many of you, I have searched for the why. Some of you might refer to this as survivor's guilt. 83 sons and daughters of Cott County, along with thousands more, have lost their lives in defense of their country since World War I, on the beaches, in the jungles, the deserts, in the air, and on seas, but we are still here. I've spent a great deal of time contemplating the implications of this. Muhammad Ali said, "Service to others is the rent that we pay for our time on earth." If you believe as I do that our time on earth is the audition for a seat next to Christ, maybe God doesn't yet believe I am ready to stand in judgment. Being a girl dad is the best job in the world until it's time to mend a broken heart. Each time my daughter's heart was broken, I'd have to tell her, "Honey, that boy was just a trial run. God isn't finished turning your life partner into the man he needs to be." Maybe the same is true for warriors. If you believe as I do that God has a purpose and a plan for each of us, maybe the impact we were created to make has yet to be realized. My son is a Marine Staff Sergeant and instructor at the Combat Warfare School in California. He is ushering in a new era of warriors, so maybe he still needs me around to help him develop into what he was created to be. There is no rhyme or reason that an Italian Catholic city boy from Northeast Ohio should have ended up in Cott County, but here I am. Was I spared so that I could come here, meet an extraordinary woman who would bring me the peace I had yet to find in my life during the worst time of my life? Was it to take up a post as agency director, bring together all the emergency responders, bring together an extraordinary collection of men so we could all navigate the worst disaster in county history? For a while I believed this to be true, and I really thought my days were numbered after Helene. I thought this was what my purpose was on earth. This is what I was supposed to do. But here I stand, and God still doesn't want me yet. And this scares the hell out of me, because all I can think of is what next? What next? I'm reminded of what Father Steve Popovich told me as a high school sophomore, coping with my mother's untimely death and questioning my faith. He said, "Faith doesn't give us the answers to our questions. Faith enables us to live with the questions." And as you can see, I have more questions for you today than I do answers. I do believe that those who have died in defense of their country did so while fulfilling their own destiny. Their absence has left a hole in the hearts and lives of those who knew and loved them. Today and every day, we honor them and their families by never forgetting who and what they died for. So moving forward, I will have faith that my higher purpose is still in play. I will have faith that God has a plan for me. I will have faith that I will one day stand in judgment for the service I have given on earth. And I will have faith in all of us. And I will do the thing I have control over, which is to honor our 83 and the thousands more who gave their last full measure of devotion by living each day as if it is finite with honor and with purpose. Thank you.
Well, he said he wonders what's next. I can guarantee you whatever comes next to this man will be dealt with strength and integrity, and he'll step back and look at it. He'll decide what he needs to do with it, and he'll move forward and get it done. Thank you, Joe. As Joe said, our monument down at the courthouse lists 83 names for those who have fought since World War I, in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Well, since the beginning of our country in 1775, it is estimated that we have lost 1.9 million women and men who have made the ultimate sacrifice. So this being our 250th anniversary, we need to remember them all. And a proper thing that had to be done this morning was at daylight, you lower the flag. At noon, it goes back up. C.J. Ball took care of that for us, and I certainly appreciate that, Sheriff. We thank you for that. We'll get it back up there this afternoon. Now, when you say someone's name, like when we do Wreaths Across America, you go out and you salute the grave and you say their name. Well, that keeps their spirit going. As long as you say their name, that ripples out there so people will remember that person. So today, we're going to take the time and we're going to say the 83 names that are on the wall. I have 3 people helping me here, and we're going to start off with Dave Mills, and then we'll do Bob Peterson, and then Adam Sanders will help us as well. So thank you much. Dave, please. You're number 3, okay? Adam's number 1. I got him on the wrong side of me there. Adam, please.
Thank you, Rob. If you put on the uniform like I did when I was 16 years old, yes, I joined the military when I was 16 years old, and I spent my 17th birthday in Brienne-le-Château, France, and I served for 22 years. I want to thank each one of you that have put on the uniform and signed on the dotted line and said, I will give up to my life for my country. As we read these names, let us remember that they gave the ultimate sacrifice. We need to honor them and remember them. World War I, U.S. Army, William Austin, Charles G. Free, William Hall, Robert Johnson, Robert Marley, Carter McFeatures, Edward Nolan, Jesse J. Sprouse, James C. Trenton, the British Expeditionary Force, Guy B. Gillespie, Escadrille. If you don't know what that is, that's a French squadron, and this is a French soldier. Kiffin Rockwell, World War II, Eston R. Baxter, Joseph A. Brown, Swanee H. Burke, James D. Butler, Hugh M. Campbell, Joseph E. Carter, Darius R. Cody, Luther L. Curtin, Tom W. Daniels, William S. Forster, Lucas Gentry, Charles E. Giles, Roy C. Green, Charles Hodge Jr., Hollis J. Holt,
Okay, I get to continue with World War II. Roy A. Johnson, Maynard Lackey, Ralph Laws, Troy W. Laws, V.J. Leatherwood, Jack Marshall, Manson Mathis, Howard H. Mathis, Luther S. Magaha, James F. McMillan, Lloyd R. McNabb, Albert M. Olsakowski, Jess W. O'Neill, John W. Ottinger, Ordway H. Paget, Fred F. Phillips, Leader Phillips, Samuel E. Phillips, Zach Phillips, J.D. Shelton, Arthur Schultz, James R. Schultz, Neil L. Schultz, J.D. Smeltzer, Charles M. Suggs, Omid T. Williams, Ray Woody, U.S. Army Air Corps, William H. Harrison, Jr., Glenn H. Pierce.
And World War II continued. U.S. Navy, R. Etheridge Allen, Mitchell Boley, Dallas Brown, John E. Chalkley, Hooper E. McFarland, James L. Reagan, Joseph L. Spratt, Robert Suttles, Merchant Marine, Frederick R. Stokely, Korea, U.S. Army, Harold Carr, V.J. Crum, Isaac Ford, William E. Goodrum, Arthur Grooms, Jr., Rome H. Hance, Frank Moore, Jesse E. Sprouse, William F. White, USMC, John D. Williams, Vietnam, U.S. Army, Carl Ely, Len M. Jenkins, Lemuel F. Mack, Jr., Daniel J. McMahon, Michael C. Gibbs, USMC, Charles R. Rains, and Charles C. Roberts.
Thank you, Dave. Charles C. Roberts there happens to be the name of the DAV Chapter 102 here in Newport. Thank you all for saying the names. I'd like to thank the Honor Guard for being here today. All our extinguished guests we got out here, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. And as we get ready to close today, Pastor Tom's going to lead us in Amazing Grace, and I hope that y'all will stand and sing along with us. And I hope to see a lot of you come out there next Saturday's breakfast. Again, thank you so much for coming, and remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice as you go about today. Thank you.
What would it be without Amazing Grace? We have it on bagpipes. We're going to do it with our pipes, okay? Okay, I'll sing the first verse, and then we're all going to join on the second, third, and the fourth. As a matter of fact, the ladies are going to do the second verse. The men are going to do the third verse, and then we'll all join, GW, we'll all join on the fourth verse. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Come on, ladies, show me up now. Was grace. Yes. Amen. Okay, guys, third verse is ours. Through men. Right. Sounds like a veteran, doesn't it? Okay, big finish now for the folks outside. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Thank you, Pastor Tom. Thank you all for coming again. Have a blessed day.